I'm sorry? No. Actually, I mean, right now I'm in Toronto. So right now it's actually 5 a.m. in Toronto.
Right.
So this is perfect, actually. For today, the timing is perfect. Actually.
Well, then in that case, oh, so why is it in my?
But when or is it has it been some kind of some, I mean, guys, springtime change? Has UK been any springtime change? Did you intentionally change it to
No,
an hour
I've got
later?
I've got both of them, but I remember we said that we were going to change, and it said SY and Joint Commonwealth Inc. Mike and Shunyun, or Shunyun, and that's in my diary, and that's with the link and everything. So somebody's put that in there, and then I've also got a co-founder sync at 9 o'clock. But I remembered that we had changed.
Right. That should be the co-founder sync. I mean, right now it should be the co-founder sync. And if you're talking about a additional, what's the other that says start at 10? What's it called?
It says
it's the same thing?
Yeah, SY and Joint Commonwealth Inc. is the subject, and it's me and you only.
Oh.
And then the other one,
okay,
co-founder Sync, and it's me and you only.
Oh, I see. Okay, it should be the co-founder sync. Okay, so co-founder sync should start at 9 a.m. right, your time, right? Correct?
That's what it has done, but you did ask for it to start at 10 while you're in Canada.
Right. Okay. Okay, all right.
I mean, like, look, I'm flexible. Have a think, see what works best.
Okay, all right.
It's no business for me.
Okay. Okay, so I mean, basically, I think for at least, well, meeting soon. Okay. So for next week, okay. So I mean,
next week I'll be next week. Actually, yeah, no, it's a good point. Next week, I think I'll be traveling from about Tuesday onwards.
Okay.
I mean, I won't actually be able to do anything, and then I'll be in Canada. So by Wednesday, Thursday. So when we'll be meeting on Thursday or Friday or whenever it is to go to coach. So I'm kind of thinking we don't do a sync next week, and then the following week we're together anyway. So kind of like
I see.
We don't need to do a couple until we come back from Canada, I suppose, or at least until I come back.
All right. Okay, all right. So I mean, would you like to do some prep? I mean, so that works. All right. Okay, so anyway, let's get started. So seems like it's going to be a bit of adjustment. Okay. All right. But in general, I mean, basically, I think it works for me at least in PI time. I think at 5 a.m. Okay, that should be the case. Yeah, because that should be the case. So that should be 9 a.m. for you in general. All right. Okay. All right. So let's start, and I guess share some wins. Okay. So apologize for the confusion. It's probably if I say something, then probably I've said that something. If you recall.
Well, look, here's the thing. I go by what's more important is what's in my diary. Really.
Right.
And because I had the two, and I had the recollection of doing agreeing 10 a.m. I went with that. The other one, I'll just delete the 10 a.m. one, and that's it.
Okay. All right. Okay.
And then we'll go from there.
Okay. All right. So SY and Joint Commonwealth. All right. Now that's curious. All right. Anyway. All right. So would you like to start with sharing some wins from your weekend? Or since we last met?
I had a nice time in the garden. It was actually, yeah, I suppose there's a bigger win than that. Olga and I had our 15th year anniversary.
Oh, congrats.
So, yeah, it's ironic, really. You can have gone to prison for 15 years and still come out.
right?
So,
Okay.
yeah,
Wow.
but
Wow.
joking aside, I mean,
Alright.
that's and we had quite a relaxed day, and it was nothing special. But yeah, it was just, that was good, really, in a way.
Okay. Yes. Yes.
I don't think I've got my .com ClickFunnels book come through at the weekend.
Oh.
Um,
Okay. Okay.
and I've now sectioned out most of this week to
Okay.
finish off traction.
Oh. Okay. Okay.
And
Okay.
then
Nice.
I've decided that what I'm going to do from now on is just section off days of the week purely to focus on reading books. So just make it a mandatory part of my week, as it were. So
Okay. Nice. Nice. I think that's powerful. That's powerful because that means you're making it part of the habit, right? Systemize it. Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
That's definitely powerful. All right. Great. So I'll quickly share my win as well. I think the basically summarizing my trip in Vancouver. So what happened was I obviously so a lot of the get together, meeting people. Some I haven't met for over 10 years. Okay, it's
Wow.
literally that. But people from academia, and I think it's nice to kind of catch up a bit. But I also have the question, I mean, prior to my going there, I was thinking about, am I going back to my formal self, or is this a new future self that I'm entering?
Yeah, good point.
So that was kind of the dialogue I had in my mind. And but now having gone through that, I can definitely see that this is part of the future self because I am taking what I've learned in the last decade, or I mean, over a decade of entrepreneurship, but now I'm applying this to the sort of academic setting and to some academic friends. So I'll give you a couple of examples of the games. One is I wanted to meet some collaborators or maybe participants who would create, start a course, maybe some grad student or faculty might be interested to create social enterprise. That being the original thinking, but I got better. Okay, I got something even better. Right now, there's a potential co-founder for a center from actually from a very it's a very active young man who's he's a bit old, but I mean compared to what he's right now, still a undergrad student, but doing both a mathematics and computer science degree, dual degree with honors. Okay. A Morocco immigrant sort. He's not an immigrant. He's still taking he's original from Morocco. But a couple of things that really impressed me. One is he's also a developer, an open source project. He's modified a couple of games released, and that has already tens of thousands of users. Okay, for the games each. Okay, so he's done it not just once, but a couple of times at least. Okay, that's that was impressive. Okay, with active, hundreds of thousands of users, and maybe a couple of tens of thousands concurrent. And the other thing that's impressive is I think there's a game, Legend. Okay, so there's a game. Okay, the popular one, Legend of Heroes or something. Okay, so okay, so anyway, there's like I think 200 million users for that game worldwide, and he's the one of the top 50 European players for the game. Okay, so actually he could play at a professional level, and yeah, but that was okay. And but he's also aspired to do a lot of great stuff. So definitely there's a future self trajectory there. And he wanted to basically get a job at a large established corporation as intern. And actually through my introduction with another participant at the event, this looks like going to happen. And that company is ByteDance. So okay, so that's another thing. Meeting one of the R&D director, I think responsible part of the research team for ByteDance. So ByteDance has a resource, and so I don't know if you know about the company ByteDance. No, neither do I. But you probably have heard of their product. It's called TikTok. TikTok.
I'm familiar
you
with
probably
it.
had heard of, right? Yeah. And what actually what impressed me was TikTok actually has surpassed WeChat, which you probably know, as the #1 active user app in China already. And globally, I think it's had, I don't know, like a few 100 million users. Okay. So I think 200 million. So yeah, basically a large number. So a few of the world's population. So basically that right now TikTok, the company is called ByteDance. They have 100+ member R&D team, and this guy is one of the the team leads. He's managing about a dozen people working on streaming things. So he mentioned about lack of talents. So I introduced this guy Fagal, and looks like he's going to work for ByteDance in the near future. Okay, so that and I already invited him to the Sender group, and also Krista, of course, and see where this is going to take. So that's a nice development. Okay, because this is also I'm sharing a bit of I'm learning what I'm applying what I learned from the YC stuff. YC actually advocates get a co-founder as quickly as early as possible. Okay, I mean you want to do that. Well, I mean you want to do that early so that you do have someone to discuss and before you actually raise capital. And Fakal, this young man, he actually is also doing crypto investments and trading. Okay, and for 7 years already. Okay, so he's actually accumulated, I think, some Bitcoins, and was successful at trading at some point. He's also gotten some people to trade and invest with him. I think the collective amount was a couple of $1 million. Okay, so actually one aspect we have discussed is him potentially as someone who can get investors to invest in the Sender. Okay, because he's kind of got that kind of experience and record before. So
Sender. Why not JCF Main?
I actually share both. Okay, that's what he kind of picked. Yeah. So
So what did what did you ask? What was his response?
Oh, I basically share about what JCF is and what a Sender is. Okay.
Okay.
And basically I was asking, like what obviously he has scales overlapping both. Okay. But an aspiration as well. But then, I kind of asked him what his preference was. Okay, and it was a Sender. Okay. A Sender potentially is something that, okay, let me explain a bit about why. His future self, so what he aspired to do is, having his own company that can sort of quote unquote fill the gap for other companies. Okay, in terms of what they are in shortage of, whether it's development, capital, or whatever technology. So he could have teams develop for them and have those companies as clients. Okay. So he already had that kind of conversation in his mind before we met. And a Sender actually fits into that. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay, so I think that's why he picked the Sender as opposed to JCF as being one product, whereas a Sender as a platform for different teams and projects. Yeah. So, but that's a good feedback, and definitely we can discuss about this if if you like to recruit this guy.
Well, no, I think from the point of view of from the point of view of if his focus is on a sender and
Right.
he's capable of getting investors,
Right, right.
then it's only gonna benefit JCF Wealth ultimately,
Right. True.
because
True.
we're gonna channel it through that
Yes.
framework
True.
platform.
Yeah.
So it kind of doesn't
true.
matter.
Okay. That makes
Does
sense.
it?
And oh yeah, one more thing.
Unless, of course, there's another mechanism where it circumvents JCF Wealth or Main, and then we do lose out. But so long as
Okay.
a sender is feeding into Wealth, Main is feeding, so long as they're feeding into each other,
Yeah.
then we'll ultimately the goal is that the platform should generate a basic income for 1 billion people.
True. Yes. That's right. And
It doesn't really matter whether it comes from a sender or Wealth or any other product,
Okay.
so long as it's going via that whole platform.
Basically, a sender will be a client for JCF as a client for the Wealth platform. So this is integration. So one added bonus for him is that he's coming to Collision on his own. He's got a developer ticket because he's an open source developer. So this young man was impressive because he actually planned on attending 4 conferences on a job hunt trip. Okay, and the conference MMSIS was actually just the first of the 4, the 4th being Collision. Okay, so you all meet him, we all meet very soon. Okay.
Cool.
So I guess that's a win. The second win is kind of a crazy which happened on the last day of of this conference, where because I started a workshop 10 years ago, no, 15 years ago, actually co-founded the workshop called MMV, Massively Multi-User Virtual Environment. So it was mainly about scalability of these worlds, and right now it's other people are running it, but I'm the steering committee member. I'm not really doing anything so far, but nice to see things are still running, self-managing after 15 years. But the thing was, we had a dinner, at the last day, and basically one of the keynotes, actually the first keynote, it's a professor called Clara Naristel. I can't pronounce her last name, but she is basically a very well-respected scholar in the field, in the multimedia field. She's both a fellow for IEEE and ACM. Okay, so a double fellow. Okay. Anyway, you probably know IEEE, right, from a lot of the standards stuff. I mean, it's or no, IEEE. I mean, like your networking protocol is IEEE standard. Like all the technology protocol, a lot of things are IEEE.
I can't hear the definition of each word at the moment. Sorry.
Okay. Anyway, IEEE, let me put it that way. It's the largest in a professional association for engineers worldwide. Okay.
Oh, yeah, I got it. Yeah. Institute of Engineering and something. Yeah.
Okay. And ACM is the Association for Computer Machinery. It's the one started in US. Okay, it's more US centric. Okay, but anyway, they are like one is the widest, the other is the most prestigious, and this woman is a double fellow in both. Okay, so
right.
Anyway, she wanted to see a test bed being done for the multimedia community. Okay, that can kind of hold different projects together, and so basically, over a dinner table conversation, I just kind of sort of pitch and gather a bunch of people on how this can be done as an open test bed for multimedia and virtual reality research and moving towards the metaverse. Okay, so a concept paper is supposed to be submitted by July 3rd, okay, with at least 3 groups working together. Okay, so And obviously, we want to invite that professor as a co-author as well. Okay, what this entails is that, so currently the name is called Openverse, kind of open metaverse. Okay, the other name was Open Meta, but this is essentially trying to sort of build a, you can think of it as an open source version of what the Meta company wants to build, which would be a closed version of the metaverse, privately owned, more open and public from the research community. Okay, so kind of just started, bootstrap that. Okay. All right. So yeah, so those are a couple of wins, and I know what might be concerned about where's
Your time, mate. Your 24 hours, not mine.
yeah, that's right. But yeah, but what I do feel interesting is I'm exactly applying everything I'm learning about lean startup, from YC, from entrepreneurship, and applying in an academic setting. And apparently, it's working. Okay. In a sense that, yeah, I mean, the speed.
But I think the difference there, though, I think it would work. It would be easier to work because if you've got a room of academics, people who are already having their time paid for,
right,
and then an entity, university, whatever,
right,
then they're going to be able to juggle time better because they've got a standard income and they know that they've probably got some time in their calendar set aside for development work or projects or whatever. As part of their discipline. So yeah, it's going to work because people have got time that they're being paid for.
That's great. Yeah, a lot actually.
And that works. That works better than in the outside world where people have to pay for their time.
Okay, nice. I mean, these are also busy professors. They all have their stuff, but
yeah, for sure. But I mean, I remember one of my professors at university sat there and, well, actually next year I'm taking a sabbatical for a year. He was just going off. He was going off to do his own thing for a year, a sabbatical. What are you going to do? Read economic papers for a year. And he was a lovely guy. But I just thought, what an easy life, being able to go for a sabbatical for a year.
Yes. Yeah, so that's not 3 days, that's 3 years. Okay, so this is, yeah, I think you're right, absolutely. And
can I just take this, please? Sorry, I had something happen over the weekend. Sorry.
Okay, all right. Okay, sure.
Dude, hello. I'm on a call at the moment. Is it? Oh, for Conway, for the Portuguese guy. Right. Oh yes, sorry. Yeah, I've blanked on that. I'll need to yeah, I don't think there's much in it. Yeah, go on in. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right, buddy. All right, I'll let you get on. Cheers, thank you. Bye.
Yeah,
sorry, Shimon. I had somebody tried to break into one of our properties over the weekend, and that was the builder who's sorting something out. So
okay. All right. Okay. So are you all right?
I'm fine.
Okay. Okay. All right. Hope so. Yeah. So I like to point out a few things I've observed. Okay, just from your feedback. Okay. One is that these professors are well-paid basic income with very high level of income, right? Passive income. I mean, the guys who are joining, I think 3 of them are tenure professors. Okay, that's going to be participating.
They have tenure.
Right. Tenure professors. Yeah. So
if they've got tenure, they've got even less to worry about. They can't be fired. That's a job for life.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. So basically, well, and it just occurred to me that we want to have 1,000 millionaires, right, in JCF in 3 years, right?
Yeah.
And maybe professors, tenure professors could be a source.
Oh
Because
no,
this,
definitely. I think, I think in the UK, yeah, you're right.
Right.
So there's but obviously one wants to have a blend,
right,
different professions, because if it gets particularly dominant by any one kind of area, then that area that is going to have a dominance, and that's not that healthy.
okay.
I also there is a bit of sarcasm in the UK, because the saying is those that can do and those that can't teach. So the whole point is that academia is full of people that can't do things. Now,
okay.
part of and when I was doing my MBA, Masters in Business Administration, right, which is about business, it was an academic paper, and I had to write it in an academic style.
Right.
It was not. You know, the style of writing was not about practical functionality or getting things done. It was writing things in a language which is only beneficial to those people that read academic papers.
Right. Sure.
So the irony is, you do a master's degree in something about business, and you're doing a master's degree in it. You're not actually doing it from the point of view, how can I better myself as an individual to implement these solutions within the context of my workplace, right?
Okay. Right.
And then the difference with entrepreneurial teachers like Dan Sullivan, you're not going to get Dan Sullivan sitting there going, well, okay, I want you all to write an essay and reference all of your references according to the, you know, whatever it is, the Harvard style kind of thing, right? There's, and even in cash flow confidence, he sits there and he says that all of the professors that he's met, all of the academics and the student, that they don't know about cash confidence.
I see.
And that's why there's a kind of, I mean, like, look, so I basically think there are people in this world who are both who are kind of on the ones, I mean, one side which are academic and believe in a system that works for academia. Right. And then there's one side that believes in a system that works for entrepreneurialism. And those leaders, because there are leaders of society on both sides, kind of move forward, but they both require people at the bottom of the ladder, right? They both require students, because students pay for academia, right? Right. I couldn't believe it. In the UK, right? I don't know what it's like in America, but in the UK, it now costs somewhere in the region of £9,000 to £10,000 per. Is it per year? Yeah, I think it's £10,000 per year for a university course.
Okay. Wow.
Straight away, as a student, you know, you walk out of a 3-year degree with a £30,000 debt just on the tuition fees alone. Not to mention the accommodation, the food, and the living. Right.
True. Very true. And the rest of it. Yeah. It's very expensive. Yeah.
So when you work that out and you go, all right, how many students in the university, and how many of them start the first year? Right. You suddenly work out what billion dollar or billion pound organization,
right?
All for education, and for what? To put people through a process of having a degree at the end of it, which is relatively useless. So, and I think that, you know, so okay, I'm a little bit anti kind of education in the context of
same here. Same here. I'm in the same camp. I was thrown out by my university 3 times, expelled 3 times. I quote unquote escaped from academia, you know, when I started, because I so much, you know, saw and was not able to tolerate the inefficiency, ineffectiveness of what's going on there. Yeah. but I do see values, you know, in terms
Yeah.
of having the free time, having the long-term thinking and vision. I mean, to be sure, scholars in academia, they are being granted a very high social status and salary, okay, and free time, you know, to be in a position of do certain things. Now, some arguably, many of them actually do not really use that well and even abuse it. Okay,
True.
arguably. However, there are some true scholars, okay, and you know that are leveraging this to do really good things for the society and for the the betterment of humanity, and also for the long-term benefit of humanity, right? So I think those are the people. First of all, I personally like to work with, and perhaps we like to work with. So, for example, Professor Clara, okay, I mean, she's definitely a master, you know, in her craft. And also, she was asking the question, what's the accelerator for us jump to the next level of multimedia research? You know, trying to get the high definition, the virtual reality thing really into more people. She was asking important question, you know, and I try to answer with a solution that I'm now wanting to enlist her in the effort of putting up that solution that she asked for. Okay, so I think that's the kind of thing. And another thing is there's this fellow. He's actually of similar age, a friend I know in the community, who's a young IEEE fellow. Like he became a fellow in his 40s or even less, like, which was unusual. Okay, which was usually the fellows are like old guys, like really established scholars. And this friend of mine, and we had a nice chat actually. And right now he's already at the peak of his career, and his priority now, I asked the Ben Sullivan question, is to spend more time with his 7-year-old and 3-month-old daughter. 7-year-old son. And he actually listened to, he asked about what JCF was, and I explained it to him. Okay, so I don't know how that's going to play out, but he's still probably less than 50 years old, but already at the peak of his career, with lots of time, influence, and wealth, for that matter. So, if you have any idea, it just occurred to me that, we want to engage these kind of people to be the advocates, ambassadors for JCF, right? Because JCF somehow fits to the academic ideologies of, doing the world, making the world better. But as you said, academics, usually they don't actually create or build stuff. Now, this IEEE fellow guy, friend of mine, he's a bit different. He doesn't do anything that's not involve the company. Okay, so he always solve problems with company. So I think he has a more healthy kind of approach in terms of combining research and practical usage. Yeah, some people might criticize him for doing so, but I think he's got a very practical and obviously apparently successful approach. Having achieved a fellowship status at a young age. So so I'd be interested to hear your feedback. Maybe doesn't have to be now, but maybe in the future, if you have ideas, like how can we engage this community better? I think that's actually something we can think about as well, because I do have access to these people now.
Well, that's a good point. Okay, so not to go into depth, but I suppose straight away, I think
will he be interested to invest? Is that the question?
Well, no, yeah, of course, but no, you asked the question, how do we engage with those people? I suppose
right. Because they could be influencers. They could be influencers, right?
Yeah, for sure. No, that's a good point. And I think it's like, well, okay, how would anybody engage with those with those entities? Right. And I think like your positive affirmation about ClickFunnels, right? has spurned me to get the book, and I will kind of, because I want to read it so that I understand it.
Right.
Because I think you have to understand the principles before. Yes, it's great, great giving somebody else the work to do, but unless you understand the principles, how do you know if they're doing a good job or not? So
right, true. Right. Okay.
So there is an element of doing that. I think there is also an element of, if I look at every segment has its own kind of direct funnel approach. So being a speaker on one of these seminar type places where academics turn up and listen to the latest thing, that's important, because then you're a leader of thought. And I think if we can find a means and a ways of getting onto a couple of those as speakers or as a speaker, then you're gonna engage directly with that type of people.
Okay.
I think also whether or not it's possible to do anything with the likes of TED Talks. I don't know.
Oh yeah. You know what? I was just going to mention that.
Okay.
I before actually I went to the Europe trip, I was learning and in touch with a guy called Taylor. He's coaching people to be TED speakers, and he's arguably potentially the best guy in the world now, because he's already coached over 400 individuals to be on the stage of TED. He himself has done 4 TED Talks, which basically gave him lots of speaking opportunities, speaking gigs. That's in the tens of thousands range. Okay, things like that. And he sees his TED as a very important tool if you want to spread messages, and he's actually coaching people for it. Okay, so yeah, just to
okay.
So that's on my radar agenda. Yes, and in fact, I'm engaged in that process already. I mean, just to share. Yeah. All right. Okay. So that's So keep those things in mind. And so for today, anything you'd like to discuss? What's the one thing kind of that's you in your mind?
I'm just going to reference this book here.
Okay.
And I read it this morning. And if you give me a few moments, I'm sure I will find it, because it's really important. So it's under a section called Rocks.
Okay, rocks, right.
Which from an AMP perspective we know as being frogs, right? So it's that whole.
Okay.
Have you got your bag yet?
Oh, it's been supposedly it's in Halifax now, which is a place just 4 hours car drive from.
Yeah, no, Nova Scotia. They said to that on Saturday.
Right. I asked to send to the PI airport. I mean the Charlottetown airport.
Maybe that was the guy who rang you last night.
Yes,
Charlotte,
probably. Charlottetown. Oh, I see. Okay.
Is that the place he needs to go to?
Yes, Charlottetown. Charlottetown is where it should. So he's saying that the luggage is arrived already. Is that what happened?
Some guy rang me up last night at midnight and said, "Hey, I've got your bag here. I didn't really pay attention, and I think he said Charlottetown Airport."
Okay. Good. All right. Okay. All right.
You need to ring them up and find out. Okay. Because they got my number. I don't know why they've only got my number.
Okay. Probably because my number doesn't work. Okay. Really? I mean, it's on Wi-Fi. It's a Skype phone. So yeah. But anyway, I probably left my Taiwanese phone as well. But anyway, okay. So what about the thing you want to discuss?
I'm really annoyed I can't find this silly thing.
Okay. No, no worries.
go.
I mean, just you can just share the concept or whatever, I guess, idea, thoughts you'd like to discuss.
Yeah, it was all about focus, actually.
Okay, okay, all right.
It was basically saying, it was basically saying if you need to focus on things, because if you don't focus on things, nothing gets done.
Okay, okay, I see. And on the rocks, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So what is the implication from this learning of yours, or anything you'd like to discuss about?
Well, look, I mean, what's interesting is just seeing the crossover with 3HAG and traction. So again,
right.
and I think there's so Nick said he couldn't do that time. I asked him if he could do another
Right.
following week, and
Okay.
I haven't checked to see if he's responded or not.
Okay, okay, all right.
Oh, actually. Oh. That's weird. I didn't send a message to him. Okay.
Oh, okay, okay, all right.
My bad.
Okay, no worries. You can do that.
I've done that now. So look, yeah, but I think the important thing is that we do these quarterly meetings and we get people, you know, we get a kind of sense of focus and a sense of momentum for those people that are engaged. I think the fact that the challenge that we've got is we need, you know, if Joy and Nick are going to buy in, then we need them to buy in. I think the guys have already bought in technical, so that's not a problem. So it's more for Nick and Joy, or for them to sit there and bow out, basically.
Okay. Well,
but
I guess on that front, I do have a question though. Is it still worthy for us to continue to engage? Because I do feel that there's right now a mismatch in priority between what they deem important in life, which is nothing wrong, okay, versus what we'd like things to move forward to, okay. And I think there's a clear mismatch in there. Obviously, whether that's permanent, that's another question, and whether let's say they could be more motivated, or that's with the 3HAG, or maybe conditions change. That's a different story. But I like to raise the possibility that perhaps we should part ways, in a nice way for now, and then basically find the next guys, okay? Because I see no point in us chasing them. I mean, if there's already a message, there's and it's not being responded, then obviously it's not a hell yes for them, right? It's a hell yes for us, and at least in alignment for JCF. But I think we want to get more people who are hell yes, right? Like this young fellow, right? I am about to invite him to do a few things, which is going to cost him his time and attention, right? And we'll be seeing if he's following up, right? And if he is, then then we know that he's paying attention, right? So I think it's just I think we also being the buyer, right?
I agree.
I'm kind of chasing after people, yeah, but I don't think that's being the buyer.
No. I agree with you in the concept completely. I think to okay. If you'd have sat there and asked me this question some weeks ago, I probably would have sat there and said, "Oh, let's just move on."
Okay.
However, we finished our 3HAG, right?
Right.
The idea about 3HAG, and I think about traction as well, if you combine them two together, it gives a defined kind of process, vision, map.
Right. True. I understand. And so you want an audience for our work, right? You want to see the feedback from this audience, right?
I think, yeah, that's a good way of putting it, because here's the thing, ultimately, it's going to go one of two ways anyway. It's going to be yes or no, right?
Okay,
But
right.
it's highly likely at this stage,
Okay.
we know Nick and Joy are going to sit there and go, no, thanks.
Right,
Okay.
right.
And even if they did say, oh, yeah, we would be really cynical. Well, okay, you said, oh, yeah, last time, what's going to be different this time?
Okay, yeah, okay, yes, okay.
But
So
yeah, but I think ultimately, though,
what do you
right.
want? What do you want? What do you want from the process or the engagement, though? I mean, exactly what's the end result?
I think I think it's look, we've done it in our own heads.
Right, right, right.
We don't have any of our team, such as it
Okay.
is, giving us any
right.
feedback on that, which is something that I think is important.
Okay, all right.
And
So I have a solution. Okay,
Uh-huh.
but sorry to break you. Yeah, okay, go ahead. Even if
I mean, even if the feedback is, I'm not going to hang around.
right,
I've really
that's also a
enjoyed it.
feedback. Yes, that's also a feedback.
And you don't know what they're going to say in addition to that. So, you know.
Okay, all right. So I do have a thought on this, or maybe how to get around this. Okay, but obviously I like your feedback as well, which is let's do a webinar and record it and just share, you know, and anybody anywhere, even not just the team members, they can all watch and see, you know, whether they want to join, right?
Yes, but we have to remember our secret sauce is our secret sauce.
Okay. But Mike, this is I like to maybe, yeah, okay, that's a good point. Yeah, this is something I'd like you with your input and feedback to help me understand better and appreciate better. Okay, which is right now I believe I'm coming from the camp of there's really, you know, ideas are cheap. Execution is everything. You know, I'm kind of, I mean, I'm an idea person. Okay, so I'm an idea generator. I can give you like 10 ideas about how to solve a particular situation issues, you know, like relatively easily and quickly. Okay, so ideas is never shortest for me in any form or way. And I believe I'm particularly good at coming up with ideas, even circumventing other ideas. Let's say you have a pattern and you are blocking a certain thing, right? So I cannot do it that way, but I definitely can think of other ways to circumvent your pattern and get, you know, the results I want.
Yeah.
I'm particularly good at that, okay?
Yeah,
I am personally particularly good at that, okay? I am a hacker with systems, okay? So I have circumvented a lot of systems in my experiences. So that is why I have very little respect or regard with the pattern system, actually. Nor do, you know, like I don't really care about the pattern system. And okay, so that being said, I understand very well that, you know, as we discussed last time, it's a game for the wealthy people, the wealthy companies, and apparently it generated a lot of wealth as well. Okay, if you own a lot of patterns, you know, like somehow that gives you some prestige or some, I guess, some perceived value in the eyes of the business world. Okay, which is great. Okay, nothing wrong with that. I'm not, you know, I'm not against making more money. So so if that's the game, then, you know, if that's the game we're going to play, then so be it. Okay, and I want to be one of the good players, even the best players in that game. However, I personally don't see pattern as the true measure of protection of any kind. Okay, because ultimately it's your innovation that's going to be, you know, how that's what Dan is actually about. He can innovate ideas, right? He can out innovate pretty much anyone with ideas about entrepreneurship, right? So that's his real strength. Now, what I so what I'm saying that is because I'm just trying to explain. I'm of the camp. Execution is everything. Okay. Like you have ideas, you don't have great execution, and I say this because I'm particular I guess I'm bad at executions, right? So I have these ideas, but so far they haven't been like getting results in terms of impact or wealth, right? And I see the gap as being lacking in execution. So right now I appreciate execution a lot more than ideas or protecting ideas. Now, making ideas into IP, intellectual property, so that it has a value worth, it looks nice, you know, it makes your assets larger. I'm not against that. Okay, so that I understand. That's a game. But in terms of whether I'm concerned about other people, oh, they steal our ideas, they learn about this, right? And potentially we are in a less advantage situation. No, I don't, I personally, right now, I don't see it that way. Because it's real, unless we're concerned about they are better execution people and we're not, right? So they can out execute us with whatever things, right? But then I would see that as the solution, as, you know, we should want to, you know, beef up our execution capability, whether ourselves or by bringing a who or whatnot, right? But it's not really about being protective of our ideas. I guess that's, yeah, I guess that's, all right, sorry.
No. I get it, and I
okay.
don't necessarily disagree with you. I think there's with any argument that anybody has, there are the idea that you hold to be true.
Right.
This is how I think. Right.
Okay.
And we believe that we're right about that idea.
Right. Okay.
So we conduct ourselves in that kind of framework.
Thinking. Right.
There are always exceptions to our own rules.
Right. Sure.
Right. So I'm not saying that I'm right, you're wrong, you're right, I'm wrong. I'm interested in that at all. I'm just interested in, like, okay, it's because I believe we've had an open source, closed source conversation already, and I believe we've come to an agreement on that. And in that context, I understand it. From the point of view of ideas and being and so what was interesting to me is you said, I'm an idea hacker, I can come up with ideas. Ideas are cheap. Yeah, for you, ideas are cheap. There's no doubt about that. And that's one of the problems, is ideas are cheap, right? Because you're spinning them out all the time.
Right.
You're not focusing in on the delivery of any one particular idea, because you're always moved on to the next one, right?
Right.
And that, there's nothing wrong with that as well. But so if ideas and then execution is everything, well, you said it yourself. Maybe a reason why I think it's important is because we haven't executed. And what I believe we do by
inviting
by implementing, joining in or blending in the traction bit, is that we're stepping towards getting a robust execution delivery. Now,
right. Okay.
Secret sauce is not an idea, right?
Okay.
I don't believe they're the same thing. So the idea is basic income for all. That's the idea. The secret sauce is exactly how we blend together the combination of wealth, main, accelerator, etc.
Exactly.
It's the execution. Now, what we don't want to do is we don't want to put on a webinar, this is how we're doing it.
Okay.
It's okay to talk about our goals and our aims, but we're not telling people the how, right? Because if somebody wants to come, if Chun Yun comes along and listens to us and he goes, well, that's clever. Okay. I've got an idea. I reckon I can do this.
Okay.
and he comes up with his own way of doing it, that's okay. Because point being that if we're any good at execution, then we'll get it done and it doesn't matter. And the thing that we need to be fearful of, not fearful, but the thing that would would encourage fear from others would be somebody else who is better disposed to execute. Now, if you go to HSBC and you tell them all about it, and there's some bright spark in HSBC going, well, actually, I've got a budget for $1 million. I could spin this up and I can make some good PR with this, and our corporate social responsibility, blah, blah, blah. And they could just implement.
I see. Okay.
So it's like, I just think there's, and then here's the other thing. What I found interesting is and this is why I kind of made the reference to outside of your kind of vision. You are always quoting me at the moment, the startup accelerator people.
Okay.
Right. So you're quoting from somebody else's Bible.
Okay. Right.
You're not looking at a system and seeing how to hack it. You're quoting Dan Sullivan. You're quoting what's his name, Brunson. You're using the influences of other people, and you're saying this is the way.
Right.
If you were hacking those systems, you would be going, well, actually, we could do it like this.
I see. Okay.
What I find interesting is, and I'm sure I do the same, right? This is not about finger pointing. It's just observing. We believe we're going down a route, yet we circumnavigate our own routes sometimes when it's plausible for us to do so. And that's what being an adult is about. Is the adult sees and determines the difference between black and white and determines how much grey there is. A child doesn't see that. They see black or white, right or wrong.
Right. Okay.
So I'm just saying, and the only reason why I make that point is because I believe that secret source is a grey area, that it's not that we're actually protecting it. And here's the thing. So if we say that building a patent around our IP for whatever is okay, well, that's kind of what we're doing about our secret source. Dan Sullivan can out-innovate anybody, right? But he's still patenting all of his knowledge. He's not letting that go to. And the reason why he's doing that is he's building legacy. Let's say he's 500 patents. That makes his organization worth 500 million.
Exactly.
So why does he do that? Yeah. So why? What's it bother to him? When he's dead, he's dead. He can't take it with him.
Okay.
But his legacy will live on. It was the biggest criticism with was it Zig Ziglar? He was great. People loved him. He motivated, changed people. But when he went, he went. So
he all went out. He went all away.
When he died, that was it. There was no continuation. There was no academy, right?
I see.
So I think what Dan's doing is he's building in legacy for his. This is just a suggestion, right? So, and I think that this is what it's about. It's like, so long as we're not doing it. This whole point about open paper, white paper, whatever. We're not doing this so that we can close shop and prevent people. What we're doing is we've got an idea, okay, and until we've executed it, we have to be careful about that idea because somebody else can execute it more efficiently than us, without doubt, if they believed in it. Now, it might be that right now nobody thinks it's a great idea. Not enough people.
Right.
So to come back to so the point about secret source is I'm not saying that it's the concept. I'm saying it's how we deliver on it that's important, and we need to identify what it is that we will call our secret source. because until we
Right.
get to the next stage, that is our only source, right? Now, at some point, when we move forward, we will have a different set of engagements and a different secret source because we'll have evolved.
Right.
And when we evolve to that
Right.
next stage, we'll have to protect that secret source, but we'll be in a better position because we'll be able to execute more easily, and so on and so forth. So I think just if we just sit there and open it up and tell everybody everything, then it's kind of like there isn't anything to there isn't anything to sell, right? Because you're just telling everybody everything. And whilst that's great, I think like, well, okay, well, let's look at it then. I mean, one might argue that Linux is more valuable in the way that it engages with humanity than Microsoft. Right. Because it's an open system, it's used by a lot of people. At the end of the day, these closed systems have actually been very what's the word?
Valuable
very,
and wealthy.
Yeah, they have created
generated a lot of wealth.
Yeah, for a couple of individuals. Good for those individuals, but everybody resents that because they think, well, that's not fair that person's got all of this. Well, then, but that's entrepreneurship, right? And the difference of what we're doing is that we're sitting there saying, well, okay, we're not going to stop ourselves from being wealthy, but we're actually going to try and make everybody else wealthy as we go along, right? Because it's a more reasonable way of working. Right. And that's the basic premise that we want to sell to people. Well, if we tell everybody how to do it, then what it's going to defeat the object, right? Because the only way we make everybody wealthy is if we get everybody involved. So you need a pyramid, right? But if you tell everybody how to do everything, then you're not going to have as broad a based pyramid, and therefore you're not going to be able to have impact as many people as you wish. You're not going to be able to build the system to be able to turn it over to a DAO engagement where people will value it and it becomes autonomous. So I think there's a time and a place for all of these things, and I don't, I think whilst ideas are cheap, and I think you've elucidated it really well, it's because of execution. Right. But anyway,
no. I think this is very valuable stuff. I think you just described, because I acknowledge you are discussing, I guess, a concept. I have to admit, I'm not like fully understanding it well. And which is a good thing for me to realize or be aware of, because I mean, otherwise I will be sitting in a Hilton hotel talking to you instead of in this airport, right?
Well, to be honest with you, I'd rather be sitting next to you in a Hilton than as we're doing it at the moment. But anyway,
right. No, I mean, I acknowledge there's obviously some gap or some things I don't fully understand well or haven't mastered yet, which is why I guess wealth or economic wise, I'm not yet at, I guess, the ideal level, or the level of kind of financial freedom that I want, right? I mean, I'm going up the ladder, approaching that, but I'm obviously not yet there in terms of financial freedom. So, and there are guys who are, doing similar work who are at my age, who's already done that, right? Obviously, maybe many layers over. So, there's a reason for that, right? And it probably is not about other people. It's something here, right? It's something here. So
big leap, healthy deserve level.
Right, exactly.
And I'm the same, mate. So there's people my age who have far surpassed anything that I've achieved so far.
Right. Right. So, I mean, and there's nothing wrong with, I mean, there's nothing to be ashamed about, okay? Because
Yeah.
everybody has a different goal, you know. I think we're
Yeah.
all successful in our own goals. Now the question is, right, is that our only goal, or should we move that, right? Move that goal to something that bigger, better, faster, right? So, yeah, I appreciate this discussion. And what you're hitting could be the reason, you know, why that kind of wealth or financial level hasn't happened yet for me. Okay, even though, you know, I also consider myself with certain smarts, work hard, etc. Right, and that may be part of the reason. So I'm interested to explore and understand. Okay, I guess this is something I think that's very interesting. Now that being said, practically what we can do, I think, is we can have the webinar internally. Okay, we don't have to release that, right? But just for the team and let them know this is internal material, right? And feel free to watch it at your time and then provide feedback. And obviously we can host we will announce a public, I mean, we will announce a live one. So join as well, right? Join as you will. Okay, because if you think this is important, you will make time for this. I mean, we can explain why we think this is important, right? But if you cannot make time for this, or not even paying attention, or not even attempting to make the effort, then we know you are not going to be on the ship anyway, right? And we don't have to really care about. So
I think
the way to do, yeah, is just announce a webinar time, you know,
yeah.
and whoever shows up, shows up. We will record it. We will, you know, share it for feedback. But then that's it, right? I think we don't have to wait for this.
No, that's true. I agree. And I think the thing is, if you and I sit there, look, we've got a slide deck. I've done that. Have you? I think you've seen it, right? Or have you not had a chance?
Right. I think I've seen a draft. I've seen a draft for that. Yeah. We went through the slide.
Yeah, no, I've done
notes about the revision.
I've done it. I've done the slides now, so that it's a finished article, or at least it's the first draft of a finished article, right? So
all right, okay.
So basically, I think that if we go through that and I tell you where I was thinking the dialogue would go, right? At the end of that, we can determine, are we telling anybody any secret source, yes or no? If it's no, then it doesn't matter. If it's yes, what is it that we're saying, and why do we want it? Why do we think it's secret? And therefore, do we? And it might be that this is all nonsense, and that we're not talking about any secret source. In which case, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Right.
So I think that's.
I agree.
And then once we've agreed that, then I think, look, why don't we just do the webinar and just get it done?
Okay. Sure. All right. So maybe go over the slides, you know, together and determine that. Okay, that will be one. One thing about the secret sauce, though, is I recall listening to this, and I was really upheld by it. Is that true masters are that even when they show you what to do in slow motion, you still cannot replicate it.
Yeah. But why is that? It's because they've done it before so many times, right?
Yeah, you know, I mean, true masters, even if they're showing you in slow motion, you are still not going to do at the level that they're doing.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's.
I get that.
Yeah.
And that brings us back to the point that we haven't done this yet, have we? We've only done it to the point where, I say you've only done this to the point where it's been 100,000. When we get to 1 million,
right,
multi-millions, then we'll have another layer of mastery. Okay. Right. And the closer we are to that billion number, I mean, when we get to the billion, then more mastery. Then it won't matter.
Yes.
Because nobody else will be able to do it as well as we do.
Right. True. Right.
Sorry, are you in Toronto Airport?
Yes, it is.
Okay. I think I know where you're sitting, because not too far from there was where I used to get the bus to the hotel.
Oh, really? Okay, yes. I think it's a bus stop behind. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure. Yeah. Okay.
Anyway.
All right, good. So the topic I wanted to discuss, we kind of cover a bit, but it was about who to bring to collision. Alex just said that he may not be able to come, okay, and I may be in the inclination of trying to convince him, okay. He just moved to PI and, you know, wrap up in all things livelihood, family related.
Right.
But yeah, that also shows me though, I think being an entrepreneur is not easy. I mean, okay, anyway, but okay, so I think right now we do have 2 more spots. And there's this guy, Samuel. So he's actually right now in Toronto. So who this guy is the, well, I actually chatted with him in Toronto airport prior to my Vancouver trip. He's the one I'm discussing to do a potential company merge or team merge with immunology and his team. Okay. So to give some background, he was actually the CEO, co-founder of at least 3 companies of influence in Taiwan. He's helped a couple of companies to be listed. One in the New York Stock Exchange, one in the Taiwan Exchange. Okay. Right. And you know, he's about to retire, right? He's at the retirement mindset, a kind of mentor that, but really, I think, and he's been doing edutech in the last few years, you know, basically leading my good friend of 20 years, okay, in that process. He's in Toronto because his son is right now studying here at U of T. And yeah, so I guess he was one candidate I was thinking about inviting, okay, to both to, I guess, expose and also to see what are the potential, you know, collaborations that could happen between,
Sure.
Yeah. And I think he's connected with the investment circle, okay. I mean, obviously he's raised funds before, okay. I mean, you know, in Taiwan. Yeah, so that's one. And I don't know any feedback from your side about whether that would be a good person to invite, or do you have other candidates?
Yeah, I mean, if he wants to come along, let him come along. I don't mind. I think I don't, like I said, I don't know anybody. There was just that one person I mentioned, but they're not really anything to do with us, really. It's just somebody we met last year. So there's no real.
Okay.
I don't know the value of it really. But
who are the who's that are relevant to JCF that would be helpful to bring along? I guess that's the question. I mean, in your mind, I mean, any.
Well, I would have sat there and thought if it would have been like Nick and Joy. That's where I would have been a few months ago. Nick we invited him, and obviously he couldn't come. Joy, we didn't bother inviting, but I don't think she would have come anyway. So then it boils down to what. Yeah, of those.
So it's kind of like who are in the team right now, right? And who's willing to come, or who potentially could be a team member to get them, you know, I guess more interaction also to see.
But at this moment, okay, so the guy that you've who's the Moroccan, he's coming anyway.
Yeah,
and he's an accelerator guy anyway. Then you've got this guy Samuel. Well, okay, fine. If he's going to turn up, then fine.
All right.
But I mean,
so
it's like an Alex and Samuel. That's two people with 2 tickets. Well, one of them we know is already kind of most likely not going to turn up. So
Alex is hesitant. He's getting hesitant. Yeah.
All right. So he's not going to come.
Okay. Well, yeah. If all right. I think I want to talk to him. Maybe kind of like how you want to talk to Nick, right? Or maybe I'm being the seller, which I don't. I don't want to be in.
No, don't worry about it. If he wants to turn up, then that's fine. He comes. But if he doesn't, we've got to invite somebody else. And if we invite somebody else and they say yes, then we just tell him, right, that ticket's gone, mate. I wouldn't be a seller to him. Just
right,
or
right,
any.
true.
I don't think I'm being a seller to you.
No.
Generally speaking, it's just like, look,
Right.
I think we just need to say how it is.
Right.
Okay, look, Alex,
So,
we're gonna offer that ticket to somebody else, mate. So just so you know, can you give us a definite answer, yes or no?
all right. I will get that. Just in case, I think the question to ask is who's a potential partner we really want to have on the team, and I think we discussed this actually. It's someone maybe of a CFO position capacity, right? Some CFO kind of guy.
What? That guy, Natal?
Nalay.
Is he?
I think he's going to show up again. I think he's going to show up. I mean, he's an investor, right? So it makes sense.
Is he? Would he be more interested in this if we offered him some kind of part to play?
Advisory role? Okay.
Yeah.
I can ask. Sure. I'll ask. Okay.
And just say like, look, we've got a ticket. Why don't you come along for one of the days and spend the day with us, and we'll go to some of the sessions and
okay. In case he has a ticket. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
And see if see if we can talk to you about some of the opportunities we think are available right now within JCF.
Okay. All right.
And just see if that kind of tickles his fancy. Don't invite him on the day that we've got to be on the stand, because I'll be on the stand and I won't be able to talk to him.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. Okay. So all right. Okay. All right. So that's a couple of candidates. All right. Okay. I was thinking that maybe we should get someone who's actually based in Toronto.
Who do you know that's based in Toronto?
And that's a good team member, right? That could be a good team member.
I only know. I mean, I don't even know them, right? But I know what three people, four. One is Nick. Well, that's a done deal. And then three people that we met last year, but then they've got their own things going on anyway, and they're not really associated with us. So it's kind of like, I don't know anybody in Toronto. Oops.
Sorry, I think my network broke.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, I'm here.
All right. So maybe let's wrap up. Okay, so and this Samuel guy, actually he has a son. Okay, but anyway, The
Samuel or Nalay?
Samuel is probably. No. I mean, Samuel has a son. He's staying at his son's place. Son is actually doing CS, computer science, in Toronto, and obviously look for job opportunities, you know, and opportunities, things like that. So yeah, I don't know, but I think I can ask Samuel. Okay, Samuel, and also check on Nilay. Okay, so those are the things. Okay. All right. So, any last thoughts? Okay. All right. So, would you like to do a quick? I mean, would you like to do a quick wrap up of what's the best gains learnings today for you? For each one of us?
I don't know. Same as usual, really. I think what we've done. We've gone through stuff. I think we've done.
I mean, what's something that might stand out from today? I mean, like what's the biggest thing that stand out?
Ideas and execution.
Okay. All right. Okay, great. So for me, it's a better understanding of appreciation for what is the secret sauce, and you know how tight-lipped I should be about it. We should be about it.
Let me know what it is.
Okay. All right. I like to pay more attention to what the secret sauce is. So maybe secret sauce are things that are not yet, we haven't at the mastery level, so we don't care, right? And it's something maybe we're building towards mastery. Maybe that's right. Maybe that's kind of the thing that should be categorized as the secret sauce part, right? Something we're actively executing, but we're not yet at mastery. So something we might want to be a bit concerned.
And I think also part of that will be the interaction that you and I have.
Okay. Right. But if that's the case, then there's really, you know, nothing to worry about, right? Because I think it's a very high level interaction that we're discussing.
Yeah. But I mean that is part, but that is going to be part of it. But I wouldn't say that's like the only thing.
Right.
It's kind of like, yeah, it's a contributing factor.
Okay. Great.
It's the chili in the sauce, or the salt in the sauce. It's the thing that gives it all of it. It's the umagi, or whatever they call it.
Right. All right. So let's continue to figure out what the secret sauce is.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
So we're syncing for Team Sync this week.
What,
we do have a Team Sync time, you know? Yeah.
Well,
just to confirm. Right, Thursday.
Thursday of this week. Oh, okay. Hold on a second. Oh yeah, 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock, I've got it in here, my diary, right?
Right. 10, I think it's 10 past 10, right? 10 past 10. Yeah, 10 past 10. Yeah. Okay.
All right, fine. I'll see you then.
Okay. All right. So take care. All right. Oh yeah, we will probably do the 3-hack thing over the Team Sync time, right? We can have a discussion on the 3-hack slides. Right. Okay. Yeah. Make sure that's done. Okay. All right. Okay. So have a great week.
Okay. See you on Thursday.
All right. Yeah. Take care. Bye.